Today, on this crazy episode, it's not that crazy. I just like to say dramatic entrances for people. But yeah, today we are joined in by a beautiful human being. I know I say that about every human being, but it's true. I find every human being beautiful in their own sense. And this beautiful human being, Toby, he does his own podcast called Secret Transmission Podcast. They talk about conspiracy theories and things that people just kind of brush off or dive really deep into and then just kind of lose touch with reality, which then again, what is reality? Nobody knows. We're all just walking around thinking we know what we're doing, and none of us really do. So we sit down and we just chat with Toby about some of these some things like that, conspiracy theories. Just kind of go over it. We'll just kind of banter back and forth, chit chat about this, that, the other thing. We covered about just something about the shooting, the school shootings, because me being a substitute teacher, and I was like, dude, listen, I'm ready to kill somebody and I'm ready to die. So tune in to hear the whole conversation, because I just took everything out of context just now. So now you can sit there and judge whatever way you want to. We also talked about just like, reality and like the magic and some occult stuff and how cool we both are, and then wrestling, and then how interesting it'd be to see the future presidency candidates, because right now everything's being recorded and things are going to fly out the window when in 20, 30 years from now somebody's going to run for president and they're going to say, you remember that one time you farted in the middle of Taco Bell and you did not, and you passed the blame to an elderly woman? Yeah, I don't think I want that president. I just made that up. But tune in, should be fun. Also, stick around for the ending, for the outro, because I'll be doing another song. Is it going to suck? Is it going to be great? Who knows? Only you and I will find out in about a couple minutes after I record it. All right, we're jumping right in. And action.
Stop. I got burnt out, and I was like, I don't want to do this. This is stupid. I'd rather just not talk. And I haven't talked since.
I know. What was it? A 2-year hiatus?
Yeah, so good.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, so good. It just now, I'm getting back into it, and I'm enjoying it, and that's why it's like, Toby! So it's very exciting to be able to reconnect with people and then see how everybody's grown and where things ended up. Because I just focused so much on myself and just growing and whatever was going on. It was very interesting. It was very soulful. All that good words that make you feel happy.
Right.
And then now I'm at a point where like I'm kind of not. I can't say I'm lonely because I really love my own company. But I was like, I really want to like hang out with people.
Be a little social.
Just a little social. So I was like, wait a second. This podcast thing, I remember I could like talk to anybody about anything at any time. And they were excited about it. Let's do that again.
Yeah, so my iTunes unsubscribed to everyone that I had subscribed to. And like I didn't realize that you were back until I guess like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I was like, oh shit. Where did this sneak out of,
Welcome. Yeah, I didn't restart like that much sooner than 3-4 weeks ago. It must have been like 5 weeks ago, maybe. Just so you caught me right.
Oh,
right as I
really?
came back.
Right at the beginning, huh?
Yeah. So like right now, this whole week is just going to be just recording, and I thought about just like withholding a couple episodes so I can release once a week or so.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really don't want to do that. I'm just going to release everything as I get it, and then I'm just not going to deal with it. I just don't want to deal with things so much. It just sucks.
No, I get that, because there's some times where we record twice every 2 weeks. So like one day, it's every 2 weeks on a Saturday we have a sit down session and just blow out 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. And there's some times where we'll record both episodes and I'm like, those were both awesome. I can't wait 2 weeks because we've got our Friday release schedule.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this makes me just itch because I'm like, oh, this is funny, so I want people to hear this. So
I completely agree. I completely agree. It's like Netflix. You know, you go on Netflix, you get the whole season.
Yep.
And then if you have self-discipline, which who does, you watch like one every week or so. You're like, I wanna make this show last.
Yeah.
Or if you're like everybody else, who's like, I'm just gonna binge through this in one day, and then I'm gonna itch and scratch and just beg for the next season to come out.
Yep.
So I figured that's a way better thing. It's like, I'll give you your fix. If you want to binge, you have the freedom to. If you don't want to binge, well then don't. You know. But I'm not gonna sit here and wait.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to wait. So what's up with you, dude? How's it been going? You guys are going strong. That's for once. Your designs are freaking epic. That's for two. Thank
you.
Like, you're very welcome. I saw your shirt and I was like, I have to have it. I don't even care you're my friend. I was like, I want that shirt.
And it's actually a parody shirt. That one that you bought, the Secret Club one. So that one's actually, I'm a big wrestling nerd. I like wrestling. I'm a child at heart. But that's what it is. There's a group that kind of has something similar to that. But I wanted it to be like wrestling fans would get the nod to it, but it's still cool enough that anyone would want to wear it. So that's what I was kind of aiming for, and I think I was half-assed successful. Yeah.
That's very smart because I think I would like to get into wrestling, or at least my 6-year-old self definitely still wants to get into wrestling. But it's back in Russia, it would play at like 9 or 10 at night, and my bedtime was like at 8 or 9.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'd always miss it, and my mom would be like, "You can't stay up." So I never got hooked into it. But right now, it sounds awesome. It's like there's fighting and there's melodrama.
Yeah.
It's like,
see, and that's my whole thing is like people are like, "Oh, wrestling," and I'm like, well, I mean, I like stories, and this is Romeo and Juliet with fake punches and stuff and chair shots. That's the same reason I like comic books. I like video games because I love storytelling, and hell, that's half the reason I do our show is because it's storytelling. Like, even though it's conspiracies and crazy stuff, and most of the stuff we don't believe in, but it's the stories that are there with it that make it fascinating, and I love stories.
Exactly. I mean, that's why we're all here for, and I mean, just to tell a story, share something with somebody else, and maybe make a connection, and not necessarily saying that again all conspiracy theories are true, but you're sitting there and you're saying, well, instead of just throwing this out the window and saying, oh, this is for insane people, let's just talk about this. Let's see why this is true, or maybe this is not true, or let's see why people think this, and why they believe this, and then you're promoting actual thought. It's like, don't just box us into a box and say, oh, throw it out because they told me not to think this. You're actually saying, okay, let's read into this. Maybe this is why. So I think it's what you're doing is actually a beautiful thing.
Yeah. See, and one of the other, like I said, I love hearing these crazy stories of whether it's a conspiracy, whether it's a UFO abduction, whatever it is. But I also like to set the record straight on stuff. Like, you may hear a story that someone saw on Facebook and they shared it with their friend who shared it with another friend, and it's not even the exact story anymore, so the rumors spread and grow even bigger. Like, one that recently has been brought to my attention is The Simpsons. Have you seen the picture where people say that The Simpsons predicted Donald Trump, like, going down he's going down an escalator or something like that?
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, that cartoon came out 15 years ago. Actually, that scene was done after Donald Trump went down the escalator. Like, that's
funny.
So people are getting it confused. Which in a Simpsons episode, they did predict that that Donald Trump would become president one day. So that's funny. But the scene that everyone tries to pinpoint, and there's another one. That's why I was bringing it up, because there's another one that they just recently did. And people are like, oh, this came out 15 years ago. No, same thing. The Simpsons artist just did it like within the last 2 weeks. And now everyone's saying, oh, Simpsons predicted everything. They knew it.
That's funny. I saw one of those, like, again, things on Facebook about, Simpsons doing this and doing that. And I love Simpsons. Like, the show is amazing. So it was interesting to see, everybody saying they predicted this, that, the other thing. I mean, what was his name? The president, Trump. He ran for office, I think, in like 2000 anyway. So it's like they could have just gotten the idea from that and then just evolved. It's like, oh, what if he gets elected, and then just kind of went that route, So it's like, if somebody has premonitions, cool, but. And it's like, I'm not saying that I don't believe in it. Maybe somebody has, some clairvoyance of the future, or because I mean, when you look at physics, time goes in both directions. So it's like there might be one of us that's malfunctioning in the brain just the right type, and malfunctioning is a bad word, but they're different enough so they can maybe sense time going in both directions. So it's like, maybe it's possible. I'm not saying it's not real, but to say that it's that prominent, I can't get behind that.
Yeah, we've covered a couple of cases where people have been claimed to predict the future. Baba Vanga, Vanga, Rasputin. We covered him, and they had supposedly predicted things in the future. Rasputin supposedly predicted his own death and what would happen after his death, and apparently all that happened. So I mean, I don't rule it out completely. I just feel like it would be a very rare thing, and I don't think it would be. I don't think you'd be able to pinpoint everything. Like, if you did predict something like tragic, like 9/11 or something, I don't think you would be able to pinpoint, like, oh, it's going to be buildings in New York. I believe that they'd be able to be like, something bad's going to happen.
Right.
And, they'd get a feeling about it. You get those bad feelings before you do something sometimes, and you're like, oh, God, this isn't going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like that might be just the same thing as what I'm trying to say. Like, the bad feeling, and I don't know what that has to do with, but I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with it.
I completely agree. And it's like in Russia, Baba Vanga, it's believed across everybody that she's just this clairvoyant and she knows all the future and everything. And everybody knows her. I have a book of hers, it's like a dream interpretation book.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like it's crazy in the sense that, it's out there and people believe it. And again, I'm not saying that I don't believe it. I think, intuition is a beautiful and powerful thing that we can all work toward expressing in bigger and more profound ways. So like you're saying, have that bad feeling, but the more you practice that bad feeling and maybe you go and see it, maybe you will see a couple buildings, and then if you're really familiar with New York, maybe you're like, hey, that looks like New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when I've meditated, you'll sit there and then you go inside and you kind of start visualizing things. You start getting pictures, in your mind, depending on the kind of mind that you have. So you can start seeing things per se, and sometimes those things will have be related to your life. So then you can uncover whatever is happening, or sometimes they'll just be some, I don't know what. Sometimes I don't know. I just don't know.
Right.
So maybe if somebody just works on that and meditates and I don't know, leads however they do it, maybe it'll make sense. Maybe it makes sense, and they're like, hey, I just saw this in my head, and I think it's gonna happen. President, you look into this.
Yeah.
Hand
it off to someone that might know more.
Right. So I think it's very interesting, and that's why, I love the topics that you guys cover. I'll wear my shirt to school, and dude, the kids will just like, why do you have Illuminati on your shirt? It's like, why don't you, little one? Because I'm in the secret club, okay? You don't know nothing.
Oh, that's great.
Dude, all the fourth graders, I mean, all the elementary school, they know about the Illuminati. They know about all this stuff.
So Gibson, he's 8 right now, and he's in second grade. That little fart knocker came downstairs one day and was like, he was drawing triangles, and he was like, he brought me the piece of paper, and he goes, what's the Illuminati? And he was drawing the triangles with the eyes in it, and I was like, where did you hear this? Because I know he heard us over talking and he say something, But he was like, I was watching YouTube and they were talking about the Illuminati, and I was like, oh. So I had to explain that, you know, some people believe there's a secret organization, but yeah, no, he's on it too, and he's 8, and it's, I know he's in the same house as us when, you know, we talk about this goofy stuff, but we usually try to keep that separate from him. You know, we don't if we cover serial killers, we cover all kinds of stuff on our show, and that's not anything an 8-year-old needs to hear. Like,
no.
Even though he loves horror movies, this is the only kid I've ever met that's just crazy about horror movies. He loves everything about them. And
next Quentin Tarantino.
yeah. Like, you would when I was 8 and watching Freddy Krueger or something, like, I'd go to bed with nightmares, and I'd be like, nope, I'm leaving every light on in this bedroom. And this kid's like, all right, I'm going to bed. Good night. See you later. And he'll just lay down and just go to sleep. And you're like, wow. So
he's a badass little kid.
Yeah, but yeah, he knows a lot of goofy. He started asking me about reptilians one day, and I was just like,
That's funny.
Yeah, I guess you need to be on our show soon.
He's practicing.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's funny. Yeah, there's a lot of time where I just spent, you know, sitting in conspiracy theories. I think it's a rite of passage for everybody to just sit there and go through all the conspiracy theories that are out in the world, or at least proposed. You're like, you know, maybe this is true, and then you kind of lose your mind, and hopefully you don't lose your mind too much, so then you come back into reality. You know?
I think a lot of people do that. Like, they'll find that one thing, whether it's a shooting that they don't believe really truly happened, or let's just say 9/11 again. Like, if they don't truly believe the events happened, they will go deep into that rabbit hole for a little while, and then they're just like, okay, I'm done with all conspiracy theories, because they get too deep in the rabbit hole, and they're just like, nope, I'm done with it. Let's never go back here.
Well, I think that's most people. I have one friend who he would be watching, you know, YouTube videos about Hitler and all that stuff, and then just got convinced that, you know, the Auschwitz, all that stuff didn't happen. None of that happened. Hitler was a great guy, and then he was,
my gosh,
you know, and then he became a Nazi, and I'm just like, oh, so this is what can happen. Oh boy.
Yeah, there needs to be a warning on our episodes that are like, don't go down the wrong rabbit hole, you know. Because
but it's still, you have to have a certain amount of, you know, open-mindedness, obviously, to go in there and just to look into this. But you can't just grasp onto things just because somebody says so, you know, because you can find anything and everything on the internet. Anything that will support your, you know, crazy thoughts, anything that will support your good thoughts, anything that goes both ways. It's all dualistic on the internet. You can find whatever. So you can't just believe everything with just. You just can't believe everything. Take everything with an open mind, and then just kind of see where your heart takes you.
Yeah, and that's, you know what, that's exactly what our show is. I mean, we lay out all the facts and then the quote facts, and then we're like, okay, what do we believe? And that's we try to stay pretty biased through the entire episode until we get everything laid out on the table. Some people believe this, some people believe this, some people say this is true, some people say this is true, and then at the end we're like, okay, so who do we believe? You know, that's basically what it comes down to every episode is, we presented all this nonsense. Which nonsense do we believe the most?
Right? And it's all nonsense. I mean, this guy says this guy says that. It's like, okay. I mean, this guy might be a scientist, so he maybe actually did some research, but maybe it's 1 against 1,000. And then there's, again, it's like, what does your reasoning tell you? What does your intuition tell you? And then even that could be wrong. But there's no problem with being wrong unless you go out there and start killing people because you think they're wrong, and then you need to make them feel like you're right or something.
Yeah. There's a
line.
There's a line, and then you do get people that cross that line, and you get people like the funniest one that we've read so far and learned about was when we did our Bohemian Grove episode. You know, everyone believes this is where the New World Order meets. This is the Illuminati. That it's their summer camp, and they go there and they make all these plans to control the world. And so this one guy took it upon himself to break into the Bohemian Grove and brought a bunch of weapons. He was going to just destroy and kill, and that was his plans, and he's admitted to it. He just went on a day that no one was there, and he got lost in the woods and bumped around and ended up sleeping in one of the cabins. Like, it was a big whole thing. and a security guard caught him, and he was just like, I give up. Like, but he was going in there with like guns, and I want to say he had like a sword or something really out there, outrageous and ridiculous, and he was gonna take out the New World Order. That's what he had on his mind, and that's what he was gonna do. And it gets scary like that.
Oh, of course, it's insane because it's like, again, he's sitting there in his own mind and just marinating in these thoughts of just like evil that he could have went there and then could just been normal people having a normal time, and he just murdered everybody because he believed it was okay. He
believed he was going to be the hero that saved us all. And he, funny enough, he's one of those real life superheroes. Like he used to dress up in superhero costumes and go around like town and stuff. I don't know if you've ever heard of those people, but
we have one in Seattle. He's he walks around he's like a professional MMA fighter, and he's like a black and yellow suit.
Phoenix Jones.
Yeah, Phoenix Jones.
I used to, back in MySpace days, I used to follow him because I was like, that's fascinating.
That's so funny. It's insane. I mean, I love it that people are actually like going out there and being superheroes. It's cool. I mean, you're putting your life on the line and all that stuff, just like a real superhero would. And you don't need powers. You just need a sense of justice and saying, hey, and it's legal. You know, he just says, hey, we just need a police officer, and you and I are gonna go cuff to cuff. You know, and then he's not breaking any laws. It's like you done fucked up, and I'm about to show you shouldn't do that.
Yep.
Bam. You know, I respect that.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's cool. But like when you're going in to murder a bunch of people because you assume they're part of an evil organization, there's a complete difference right there. You know, there's that guy crossed the line. His name is the Phantom Patriot. If you ever want to look into him,
the Phantom Patriot. What a name.
Yeah.
America.
Yes. Oh man.
Have you seen the show iZombie on Netflix?
Yeah, actually, didn't they just get renewed for their 4th season?
I have no idea. I haven't seen them in seasons, but it's a great show.
Yeah.
The thing I wanted to bring up about it is, it's okay. So, spoiler alert to anybody, get over it. But I think it's like season 1 or season 2. You know, it's not even that far. And the guy, the main guy, the boyfriend or the husband, I don't remember his name.
Sir.
Yes, it's something like that, right?
Yeah. I'm bad with character names.
So him, right? So he got zombified, right? And then she's like, "Oh, I got the serum at the end," and then she sticks him with the serum, and now he's not a zombie, but now he like senses zombies, right?
Yeah.
So he senses zombies, and then the other guy he's like, "Oh, we're gonna hire you to sense these zombies out and to kill them all." Like that's exactly what we're talking about. It's like, okay, so this guy has a special belief that he can sense zombies. Like in the show, it makes sense. But if let's say you or I right now are just saying, oh, that guy's a zombie, I'm gonna murder him.
Yeah.
You know. And then what if he's just a normal guy and then he's just going around just murdering people, thinking, oh, I'm saving the world from these zombies. You know. And it's this thought process that's what's allowing these serial killers to just think they're noble and they're good or something, but they're nuts killing regular people, and the regular people are just like, oh, that's just a nice guy. Oh, and I got stabbed in the face because he thinks I'm a zombie. Well, look at that.
Yeah, because I was the bad guy in the situation for whatever reason.
Oh,
it's scary. It can get real scary with some of these guys, and that's kind of why we cover it. You know, also is to be like, if I can change one person's mind from being like that person that's gonna go blow someone's head off because they believe this one specific thing that the government did evil, then great. You know, that helps. I mean, even if they weren't gonna go that drastic, but if they keep spreading those like, hey, did you hear about, you know, this particular conspiracy theory, and they spread it to someone that does with the wrong information, they spread it to the wrong person, you get those kind of people.
Exactly. And that's sad enough. That's very sad. We don't want people dying.
No,
we don't. Spread goodness and information.
Yep.
Don't spread misinformation and unhappiness. The world's already unhappy, and it's like I think people are inherently good, even though there's people that are doing bad things. It's just like, again, we all think we're doing the best with what we have, and then sometimes the best of what we have isn't necessarily good, but we're trying to do better. At least I'd like to believe that. But at the same time, it's like to say that the government is just sitting there colluding against us. I mean, yes, they want to keep their power and they want to keep us, in this sort of regime. But I don't know if they would. I don't know if they're that competent to just to pull just such a big bag over our heads.
Yeah.
Or maybe they can. Who knows? I don't know anything.
That's always been my argument is you've got all these people that are supposedly tied up in name your conspiracy, and no one has either A, talked, or I don't know. You would think that there's someone that's going to be like, well, I'm telling everyone, and I'm gonna give all the proof, and everything's going to be exposed. And it's never happened, really. I mean, you get a few things, Snowden and stuff like that, but no one's ever just been like plopped a big file on someone's desk and been like, here's all the documents you ever needed to know about Roswell. And that's a 50, 60-year-old conspiracy at this point. And hell, it may be older. Maybe, let's see, that was like in the 40s, maybe, I think, if I'm remembering.
So, yeah, it's like 70.
So 60, 70 years ago. And no one's ever just plopped a big document on anyone's desk and was like, here it is. We got it all.
It's funny. Yeah, like right now, I'm just sitting around and like spirituality's taking hold, and like the occult, the Illuminati per se. It's like I think there's crazy people, like that believe like all these things, and I mean there's a darker side to spirituality. It's like so you can study all these things, and magic. Like I truly believe in like the magic, and I truly believe in psychics. But my understanding is that it's just I don't know if you follow quantum mechanics or anything, just about just how elementary particles interact with each other, but it's like we have through consciousness, since we are observers, we have a way to make matter exist, right? When we're not observing matter, it's in a freer form, and it's taken all the forms it possibly can, and when we're observing matter, it takes one solid form. So it's like that's where visualization takes in. Was when you're not visualizing directly, but you're constructing an image in your mind. So then you're trying to project that image into the world. So then it aligns the way you aligned it in your mind. You're kind of trying to control your consciousness. And then that's where like magic comes in. It's like magic is just a ritual saying, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do these things that's going to set in this image or this visualization is going to allow me to believe that I'm doing this, and it's that belief system that's driving actions to happen. And they're not instantaneous because the world is huge and there's a lot of people doing this, so it's like a butterfly effect. So you have to do it chipping away, like just chiseling at a block of marble to expose a sculpture. So it's like I understand that there's like the talks of Illuminati and how they're killing blood and sucking children's goats. I don't know what they're saying, but it's like, it's again, it's like, it's something that's been propagated to fear. It's like, oh, don't do this. But in reality, it's like, if you just study that, you'll have a better understanding of how you have a sense of a place in this universe and how you can live a more fulfilling life, At least that's been my experience. And I'm just sitting there like, all right, I'm just gonna do this. This kind of makes sense. Starting to see patterns around you, and it's like, all right, how do I jump into the patterns? How do I become a part of this? The flow, the flow state. So it's been interesting. That's what I've been doing. Just sitting around, seeing things, trying to swim in the ocean of the cosmic ocean. And I don't know. It's been good.
Yeah.
It's definitely been good. I mean, have you seen my paintings?
Yes, I love them.
They're crazy. I mean, I'm looking at one right now, and I'm just like, shoot, I made that.
I used to love painting, and in fact, here, there's a big painting behind me. That's my Frankenstein that I did.
You did that?
Yep.
Dude, that's hella good. Holy crap. Oh, wow.
And I haven't sat down, and I lost my inspiration for painting. And I'm a big fan of Fight Club, and I sat down to do the end scene credits where Marla and I guess it would be Edward Norton's character Tyler, I guess. But they're sitting there holding hands, and the buildings are exploding behind them. And I was trying to do a painting, and I got pretty far into it, and then I was just like, I don't know, I'm just not enjoying this right now.
Uh-huh.
So I really, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago. I guess it was right before I guess that's probably something that pushed me into podcasting was because I've jumped for years. Like at first I wanted to be I wanted to make a movie so bad, and I still want to.
Oh yeah.
And then it's hard to gather people and get people to have time to I need you to make pretend for me and be these people, and that's so hard to have someone do that with you.
I agree.
So then I kind of got to where I was painting a little bit, and I was having a lot of fun with that. And then I just kind of got burnt out. And then the podcasting thing kicked off. So I've always just kind of kept myself a little busy with projects like that, I guess.
Expression.
Yeah, I guess.
You got to start somewhere, and you did. Which, I mean, I watched all of your skate videos, and I was like, yeah, that's good stuff.
I was a skate rat back in the day.
That's funny.
Yep.
And then it was like painting. Now that you know how to paint, you can do faces, obviously, and capture essence of whatever. You can use that.
I have a really weird style. Here, I'll show you again. If you look, I do everything in like three or four colors. I don't ever do too much because I'm not very good at doing faces and stuff. So I do heavily shadowed. I don't even know what to call them. I used to call them silhouettes, but they're not silhouettes. It's just like very heavy shadows and stuff. And because I can mask anything that I'm not good at. Like I can't do lips to save my life. Like lips, noses, I can't do those. So I just heavily do the shadows. And I'm like, okay, that covers everything I can't do.
But that's what it is. It's impressionistic. You don't have to do it. You can just here's the impression, and then the mind gets it. It's like, oh, and then that's a wonderful Frankenstein. Like the face is all it is shadow. So it's like if you paint in the shadows, you're doing better than most people trying to like actually draw or paint the face.
Right.
So like your drawing, your art is beautiful, and like I said, like right now you have that talent. If it ever comes in handy into your podcasting, you have that painting. You can take a picture of it, scan it, put it on a shirt. Now you're selling shirts for your podcast.
See, and that's another thing I get to do is I get to make all these ridiculous designs for the podcast. Like I love sitting down and just making designs. I've got like 20 that I haven't even put up to put on t-shirts just because like I'll have a very artistic day or something, and I'll pump out 2 or 3 ideas, and I'll just sit there for like 4 or 5 hours just playing on my computer, editing stuff, and I get lost in editing sometimes, and just that's all I do is edit pictures and make stuff.
I get you. I'm the same way with designs. Like I love sitting there and designing, and if I could, I could waste. I mean, quote unquote waste, but I could just sit there and just paint or design away the day or the month or the week, because it's so addicting. Like you're saying you have like 20. I have like a lot. I have a lot, and I'll just sit there and just make them and make them and make them. I'll get to a point where it's like I literally have like 20, 30, 40 just sitting around, and believe me, I have thousands that are in the process and just sitting in a folder. I was like, I'll do something with that one day, and then just stuff it away.
I've got notes and stuff in my phone. I've got scripts I've written in my phone. I've got like just little jotted ideas of it'll just say something like dinosaur, tutu, sombrero, and I'll be like, okay, that was my idea. What did it mean when I was actually thinking of it?
I'm the same way on notes on the phone. It's like it's so important when I go into my phone. And it's like I need to write this down because I can't write it down anywhere else. And I'll go back and read it, and it's literally like 3 words that don't make sense with each other. And then and I'm sitting there, like, is it a book? Is it a YouTube video? Is it an idea? Like, what did I do? Like, and then I just delete it. I was like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I do that so much. I've woke up in the middle of a sleep like with a fever dream of the best idea I've ever had, and I'll just, barely be awake and type it out, and the next day I'll be like, what the fuck was that? I don't understand.
That's so funny.
Yep.
That's so funny. I learned to let those go. They're just so beautiful in the moment, and then they don't retain their properties. Like if you've ever been just like sleeping, but you're just like on the verge of sleep awake. So it's like you're kind of awake, and then you like hear things, but those things aren't really there. They're just like part of your brain. It's like you're just on the verge. It's like between the veil.
Yeah.
And then I'll just hear like a song, and it'll be the most beautiful song, and I know it's my song because it's like in my head. And I'm like, dude, that is such a lovely song, and it rhymes so beautifully, and it just conveys everything I've ever wanted to convey. But I know I will not remember it if I even move, if I try to write it down, or anything. So I'm just gonna enjoy it, and I'm gonna fade away into sleep. And then when I wake up, I'm gonna say, man, wasn't that lovely? Now, how can I do that in wakeful life?
I feel like it's almost equivalent to like a stoned thought. Like when you're so stoned and you're like, oh, this is it. And then when you think about it later, you're like, no, what? That makes no sense. It probably was never good in the first place, even if you were clear-minded.
Well, at least that emotion. It's that emotion.
No, you get that emotion of, man, that would have been the best thing ever.
Oh, and that's all we're chasing is just that feeling of bliss.
Yep.
Oh, blissful feelings. Yep. So that's that. Like right now, just the music has taken hold, and
that's awesome.
I'm really happy about it. I really am. Like I see that. Like for you, I feel like that's what I reached because you've been doing podcasting for a while. You don't seem like you're gonna stop, and I hope you don't because you're doing like you're living up to your potential.
Yeah. If you remember, you were one of our first podcast friends that we made. There was like 2 or 3 people that like reached out to us and talked to us and just kind of BS'd with us, and we've like I said, hell, you were gone for 2 years, but you were doing other stuff. So
yeah.
And I was real happy when you started with the music and stuff, and I was devastated for you when you cut your finger. Oh,
I know.
My God. That was the most gruesome thing I had ever seen. Holy piss. How is that anyway? Is it healed up pretty good? I mean, are you... I knew you talked about like, oh, yeah, I'll just have to change how I play music. But have you really had to change?
Yeah, I had to change. Well, so now like the index finger doesn't really bend. So it's like... It's mostly for show. So, but
it's your trophy finger.
It's my trophy finger. And if a lady comes into my life, I think she's gonna enjoy this finger. But so I mean, it's great for barring. So I do a lot more bar chords now. I had to shift all my playing to the from my end to the right, so that I'm using my middle finger, my ring finger, my pinky.
Right.
Which before, I would sometimes use my pinky for like fancy chords when you actually needed 4 fingers for like a chord. You know. So I had to shift everything. So now my pinky's getting a lot more action, and I know. It took me a while to get used to it. A couple weeks, at least 3-4 weeks, to just get back to where I was, so I can play the songs that I was playing. And even then, I can't do. I lost the very first song that I learned. I can't play it cleanly.
Oh no!
Because that one requires like all 4 fingers to just move around and shift and like spread. So it's like it was a song that got me into music. It was a song that got me, open enough to play and to perform, and it was a hard song, so it got me just through the hump. And then now it's the one thing that I lost with my finger.
Oh man,
it kind of sucks. I can still play it. It's not clean, and I get lost and but maybe it gives a character. It gives the song character, and as long as I can play, like I'm really happy about that. Like the scars are my fingers, and they're cool. Like I touch them and I lick them sometimes. But my middle finger, I have full mobility, so I'm happy about that. If I didn't have mobility in my middle finger, I think I'd be screwed, because just ring finger and pinky, I couldn't do much just of anything on the guitar. So I might have had to switch to it.
Do you still piano. Do you still have feeling in it? Like, does it have nerve endings? Oh, okay.
Full feeling. Surprisingly enough, because I cut deep, like I cut it into the bone, so it's like
I don't even want to picture it, and I keep picturing it. Oh. Man.
But I'm a good example for the kids too, because I'll tell them, like, hey, you got to be safe, you got to be careful, and it's like, here, look what happens. And then some of them are like, "Do you have a picture?" I was like, "Are you sure you want to see the gruesome, gory stuff?" They're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, I warned you." And I show them. They're like, "Whoa, that's so cool, gross." I was like, "Yeah, it is, isn't it?" It's like for me, it's whatever, you know. It's like it happened. I didn't fight it. I think the biggest problem I would have faced if I were to fight reality, which would most of us do. I was like, well, it happened. Just move on.
Man.
And I moved on as soon as it happened.
That's the best way to look at it. Like, well, it's done. I mean, it's not like I can go back to a different save point and be like, oh, let's try that again.
Reload.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah, so
the most important question is, can you still pick your nose with it?
I'm picking it right now.
All right, good. That's woo. I was gonna lose sleep over that one.
The funniest thing, it's like so when I'm using my index finger to point, right? You know, you expect it to be straight, but it has I would say maybe like a 25, 35 degree hook to it, and like it's crooked. So it's like if I'm pointing at you, I'm really pointing to the guy to the right of you.
Oh, that's funny.
So I'll do that at school too. I was like, just start talking about it. I was like, you, how dare you say something like that? And he's like, you talking to me? Yeah, you. And I'm pointing obviously to the guy, next to. They all get a laugh out of it. I get a laugh at it. We have fun. I love being a teacher. Let me tell you that. Like it's a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Except now I'm sitting here like on Facebook and I'm just reading just shootings and gun control things because of the last one that happened, and I'm just like, I'm surprised nothing's like changed. I don't know if the statistics are right or anything. Like I didn't look in too deeply, but the fact that it keeps happening, it's not. I don't like it.
It is nuts. But you know what even makes any of these school shootings worse is the people I deal with, conspiracy theorists, like immediately, like they don't let any families mourn. They immediately want to be like, false flag. Come on, like just give it a little bit of time before you start throwing that out there. Make sure you're truly saying, it truly is a false flag if that's what you believe. But let these, if it truly did happen, let these people mourn. Don't start telling them that, they're actors. Look, they're not even sad. Do you even know what it would be like to lose a family member or something in a crazy situation?
Child.
Yeah, a child or something in a crazy situation like that. You have no idea how these people are going to react. Or I would be devastated if I got a phone call right now about our kid's school, or something like that. Like I wouldn't even. I'd probably just sit here and just stare and be like, "Did I just get that phone call? Is this real? Am I asleep? Am I? You don't know how anyone's going to react. You're going to get different people with everything. So that's one thing that always bothers me when something tragic like this happens is, the people that are immediately just hammering, false flag. This is why. Look, and the day after everything had happened and the dust settled a little bit, people were already posting videos on YouTube of why it was faked, why none of it made sense. I don't know. It's
nothing like that makes sense at all. Anyway, so it's it's like somebody comes in and just shoots people. It's like, especially kids, like that just pisses me off to so many levels. Because kids are our biggest resource. I mean, it really is. Like screw gold, screw banks, screw anything of that nature. It's like kids. We're funneling all these resources to raise a better generation. A generation is going to think better than us. They're going to see better than us. They're gonna accomplish better things. They're not going to destroy the world. We're funneling all of our resources so this next generation is going to be better than us. And then this happens. Like a shooter comes in and just instills great fear into them, so then they can't overcome that. Yep. It's like, how are you going to sit in school and learn when in the back of your mind, oh snap, like somebody got shot here last week, or there's a shooting here in this school last year, maybe it'll happen again. And then you don't really get over that, and that taints a whole society.
Mm-hmm. That causes a whole bunch of problems. That'll kill a bunch of dreams. I mean, it's more. I mean, it's tragic that families lose their family members, but like it messes with everyone that even survived the situation. The entire town's gonna have like a dark cloud over it for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm. That sucks. I don't like. What was it like? Psychology speaking, right? There's a guy that's called Maslow, right? He established the hierarchy of needs. Like there's a human needs in order to reach self-actualization, right? And just one of the base pyramids, and yes, it's shaped in a pyramid. Illuminati. But the base on the pyramid is just safety, right? You know, you have to meet safety, you have to meet food, shelter, you know, just all these things, and then you have to meet. I'm butchering it right now because I don't remember the steps of the pyramid, but you know, safety, food, all that stuff. Then you know, like the environment, so it's like social needs, all that stuff. Once you meet all these basic things, then you start to realize, okay, higher thought. So then creativity, you know, gets met. Then and then the very last rung is self-actualization. You know, the same thing as like just enlightenment, right? Mm-hmm. So if you just kick this person's, I don't just you're kicking their legs underneath them. You know, you can't you're giving them this start in life that's saying, okay, I understand you want to climb this ladder, climb this pyramid, but I'm going to take out the biggest thing that you need in order to even just be a human being is sense of safety. So now you're going to live life like you're an animal, always looking over your shoulders like, oh, somebody's going to kill me. Somebody's going to kill me. And when we're living in survival mode, we don't have time or energy or resources to think of the higher functions of, you know, maybe a career or the things that make you happy or the things that make other people happy. How do I become influence the world in a better way if I'm worrying that the world is going to kill me? Yep. You know? And it's completely, it's wrong. It's just wrong.
Yeah, no, that's spot on. I mean, that's exactly what it does to anyone that's in a tragic situation. I never thought about it like that. I mean, that's crazy.
So the thing goes out. It's like, how do we stop it again? Like, I carry a knife around me all the time, just, you know, I mean, just in case. I'm planning to use it, but especially when I'm in the school and if something happens, I'm already, just know, Toby, I will die. I will die. He will die. I will die. Or she. I don't know. Yeah. They will die. I will die. And then maybe the kids will remember me for dying. But it's like that's such a stupid thing for me even to have in my mind, like to worry about, you know, teaching kids. It's like my job is to teach. My job is not to like
fend
protect.
Fend
off attackers with guns. Like, this is a school.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It's a crazy world. You know,
it's a crazy world.
To lighten up the topic, it's so crazy that right now, like everything now, we are in the craziest time because, you know, whatever you think about the president or whatever, like we basically had a celebrity. We have a celebrity president right now, and I know we've had that in the past, but in let's say 30 to 40 years, we're going to have possibly YouTube stars running for president. Everyone's life is going to be caught on tape because, okay, you know, you get the Trump with the grab her by the pussy comment that was made a long time ago. That was one thing. Think of how many things are going to be like recorded for future presidents in 40, 30 to 40, 50 years. Like everything is going to have some type of record because you've got GoPros, you've got people with their cell phones. Everything is being recorded now. Those are the elections I'm waiting for one day. Is these people that may have, like, you know, you're going to be able to Google someone running for president in 40 years and be like, oh, look, here's the time they tried to jump a dirt bike over a car, and, you know, it's going to be the stupidest crap ever, I feel like.
Your president, pick at his nose and wipe it on the lady next to him.
You know what? I mean, there's going to be so much footage and so much trails of like social media and stuff. Like, well, one time the president said they loved Nickelback. Ooh, you know, it's going to be the stupidest crap ever, and it's 30 to 40 years.
It's all in the cloud, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing to see how different things are, just because of that kind of silly crap.
Oh gosh, that'd be awesome. I wonder. Yeah, I really wonder where this country's gonna go in that aspect, because yeah, like you said, everything's gonna be more transparent. Like I'm heading toward it. It's like privacy. I get people want privacy, and I get it, like quote unquote. But it's like I don't think we need it, especially now that the technology is really taking it away. There's no point in fighting it because we're already trying to just share it with everybody anyways. Like, look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing. It's like for me personally, it would make my life easier if I had an orb, like an orb with an eyeball and microphone following me around and just recording everything I do. So then at the end of the day, I'd be like, oh, I want to share this segment to my friends.
Yeah.
But it's like, it'd be cool. It'd be cool. Like everything gets saved. So it's, live like somebody's watching. It's the same concept of like God is in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Behave like you would behave if somebody's watching. It's like, so if you're a bad person, well, don't be a bad person because somebody's gonna see. It's influencing you to just be at your best behavior at all times. At least that's from my perspective.
Well, see, like when I was younger, I mean, we didn't have this fancy technology with you had a crappy camera on your phone at best. But when we were out skateboarding and stuff and tearing up the town and being hoodlums, there was no documentation of it. We didn't get on Facebook and be like, I broke the door at McDonald's today. There's just not a cookie trail to lead back to like, oh, well, this dipshit's the one that did this. It's just a crazy time. Just in the last, let's say, 15 years, we've advanced so much. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. I mean, now we got people on the moon. Well, privately we got people on the moon. What is it? Tesla just sent his rocket off with his car.
With his car, and
that's so awesome.
It's supposed to orbit the sun, is what I've heard. I haven't looked too much into it, but yeah. Oh, and people are already like, that's fake. Where's the stars? Jesus, I'm telling you,
people are dumb.
Conspiracy
I love people,
theorists,
but they're dumb.
Oh yeah, that's it. They're fun though. They're fun because you're just like, just enjoy that there's a car in space right now, and it's getting more miles than any other vehicle ever.
Well, see, most of the time, the people that are screaming, "Oh, that's not real! That's not real!" They have no real sense of science behind them, or they understand how anything truly works. So just saying, "That's not how it happens in my brain." Quote, it's like parentheses. But it's like, have you even taken intro physics class or an intro chemistry class or anything that will allow you to think critically, scientifically? Because then if you have, you could think through a lot of these things in your own brain, saying, "Oh, this makes sense." And if you don't know something, you go Google it. Oh, there's the missing key of information I'm missing to make this thing work. Because like you try to explain, you try to explain, again, quantum physics, or just try to explain an electron to somebody that just has no image of that in their brain. They're gonna say, "You're telling me there's a tiny little thing that vibrates in my table? You're full of shit, and you believe in in witchcraft." But it's like, okay, science has already proved this. They've done experimentation. This will happen again and again and again. And if you have a big enough microscope yourself, you could see it too. But people just don't go to that point, or they're not educated in science enough, and then they're sitting there trying to make science claims without having any sort of backing to it.
Yep. Either that, or they try to make a scientific claim that they don't understand at all. Like, I know with the car in space, people were like, "Well, why aren't the windows fogging up?" Or something goofy with the windows. I don't remember what I think that's what it is. And Elon Musk was like, "Well, there has to be humidity in the car or something." However he explained it. And that person was like, "That doesn't make sense." Or something. I don't know. It would be cold out there, so shouldn't the windows fog up? I don't remember what it was.
Up or something. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But see, just all it takes is just a different perspective, which is that's all I'm trying to give. That's all you're trying to give. Here's a different perspective. Look at it from this way, and if you can see it from this way, then you can learn to look at other things in different perspectives, and then you don't have to just cling on to whatever you think is real, because what is real anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we perceive is a mirror of what we already see in our heads. So it's like if you see something in one way or another, it's because you believe it to be that way. But if you change your belief system, everything changes. Everything crumbles. Everything just turns to a different sort of mush. And that's why I love my art so much, is because it's it's completely abstract, and you look at it, and if you learn to shift your perspective on the art, which on mine, like on the painting I'm looking at right now, and I wish I could just have the camera working. But it's like you can focus on the red, and you see something. It's like, I'm looking at the red. Oh, I see the fox from Sonic, right? And then bam, I shift my perspective. I focus on the blue. Now I'm looking at the blue, and I see like racing stripes and streaks, and maybe like a wind. And then I'll focus on the yellow. So the painting completely changes based on what I'm focusing on. And if I'm just so damn stuck on, that's how I have to look at the painting, is to look at that, and that's the only way that it's real. And then everybody else is going to see it differently, and then I'm going to fight you till the very end, saying that what I see is real. But if what I see is real does not negate what you see is real too. Mm-hmm. Like, these two realities coexist all the time, and we have infinite realities coexisting because we have that many people. So it's like, my thing is so simple. It's like, hey, let me be me. I'll let you be you. I'll love you for whatever you do. And it's like, I'm not even saying you need to love me for whatever I do. Just don't get in my way, and I'll love you for who you are. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's so simple.
No, I agree. Like, I'm completely fine with anyone enjoying themselves as long as, they're responsible. Do whatever you want. I mean, mm-hmm. if you end up harming someone else, then obviously you shouldn't do that. If you affect someone else that doesn't want to be a willing participant, then don't
mm-hmm.
do it. Like,
yep.
That's just how I've always seen it, whether it's something sexual, something involving drugs or alcohol or whatever, mm-hmm. fighting. Like, if me and you both want to fight, sure, let's knock the hell out of each other. But but if I want to fight and you're not a fighter, why would I go up to you and just start punching you? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, what's the word? Consent. Consent is all it is. Like, if you have two consenting adults, let them do whatever the fuck they want to do. They're consenting. I want to do that, and he wants to do it, and we're both doing it. Whether it's sex, whether it's gay sex or straight sex or drug sex or just drugs. It's like, if you want to do that to your own body, again, it's your own body. You're consenting for yourself.
And if it makes you happy, like, I'm completely fine. As if you're making yourself happy and the people around you happy and everyone is happy, don't fuck with anyone. You're like, but the same goes for me. Like, I want you to be happy, and I want to be happy too. So don't, please. I'm not gonna force anyone to be like, hey, believe what I believe and do what I do. But you don't have to acknowledge it. Just let it be. Let things be.
Let it be. Let it be.
As soon as I said it.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it the Beatles or was it the who did that?
The Beatles.
Yeah. All right. I'm bad with names and everything, but it's that liberation, it's that freedom that I'm after, and I'm trying to teach too. Just like just find it. Just do that. You don't have to change anybody's mind, because people who try to attack you or attach their own misconceptions onto you, it's like, the best thing you can do is just walk away. Because like I was saying earlier, if you're the observer, and if you make matter real in front of you, then as soon as you stop paying attention to these people, they disappear from your life forever. Because you're not looking at them. You don't have to deal with them. You don't have to think about them. They're gone. They might as well be on a different planet. You're never going to see them again. So it's like, okay, you're an asshole for a minute or two, and it's like, okay, all right, I'm just going to walk away. I don't have to punch you. I don't have to do anything, because that would create attachments. Again, if I punch you, and it's like, I'm angry. You made me angry. I punch you. Okay, now I have to deal with maybe legal repercussions or whatever, medical bills or anything of that nature, and that just prolongs the interaction I have to deal with you in my mind. Mm-hmm. It's like, I still have pictures like, oh, I punched him, and then punch him, and that just keeps going and going and going. The best thing you can do is like, man, I don't want you to exist in my reality. You walk away. They're gone, and it's like, you win at that point. You just okay, cool.
Yeah,
it's so simple. So simple. Now it's so simple. I wonder what things will be simple in 10 more years. They'll say, man, life is so blank. How old are you, Toby?
I am 29.
Okay, so yeah, we're the same age. Ish. Not really. I'm 26.
I think after you hit 25, you're just like, whatever. It's I don't care. I'm just an age now.
Yeah, we're still little kids. Like at least you and I were still kids with our long hair. And...
Oh, I'm a giant kid. My hobbies include collecting comic books, video games, old toys. Like I got. You should see this room. It's fucking ridiculous. I've got a huge video game collection. I've got I know you can't really see too well, but these white boxes behind me, there's like, let's see, there's four. So there's, no, I'm sorry, there's 5. So there's 15, 30, there's 45 boxes of comic books in this room. They're short boxes. I'm a giant kid. I play with the kids more than my girlfriend Kristen. Mm-hmm. Like I'm easier. I get along easier with them than I do with her, just because I'm like, hey, let's just play and not worry about bills or whatever. Whatever's stressing you out right now, we'll deal with that when it comes time.
Exactly.
She's really bad about stressing about health. She's always found the new cancer or something that she has that's never been exposed before, and I'm like, you gotta relax until you can go to a doctor. I can't, and she'll sit up worried over,
That's what will give her cancer, is that worry, is that stress. I know.
I tell her that all the time, and I'm like, just relax and have some fun until you figure out the bad news, and then worry about it then. But you sitting here worrying about it for a week before you get to go to the doctor isn't going to help anything.
Yeah, if she's really worried about that much, then just have her like live a completely healthy lifestyle, which will just prevent any cancer from forming. Right. So if she needs some sort of action to do, because like worrying, again, it's using your imagination to picture up all the negative things that could happen, which you can either not worry, like what you do, like what I do. It's like when we cross that bridge, when we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. Or if you have that on your mind and if you want to change it, then it's like, okay, what is some action that I can do to negate that effect instead of worrying? Because worrying doesn't solve anything.
Nope.
Actually, it just never really does.
I think that's one reason that I don't feel like I'm an old man about to be 30 or anything. Like I don't feel like I'm getting older. I feel like I'm still a 21-year-old kid, just new to the world and everything. And it's because I don't worry about stuff. It'll drive Kristen nuts, and she'll be like, "Why don't you ever get jealous at anything?" And she's never cheated on me or anything, But she's asked me like, "You don't get jealous?" I'm like, "Well, what's that gonna do? I'm just gonna sit here and worry like, oh God, is Kristen cheating on me?" And I know she's not, but if I have in the past been where I would be real nervous about stuff and with ex-girlfriends, and I'd almost pull my hair out. And I got to a point like, it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. And if I find out, then we'll go from there,
Yep.
So I don't worry about that kind of stuff. It's just...
And it gives you peace.
Yeah.
And that's why you love to hang out with the kids, because they have the same thing. You're on the same vibrational level. You're just like, well, I just want to hang out. I want to have fun. You guys want to hang out, have fun. I don't have anything on my heart weighing me down.
Yep.
That's why I love the kids too. It's like you just get to be free and open and just be there, Yep. And then hopefully they'll learn a thing or two from you, just the way to not lose that innocence, that childlike state. You're still an adult, but you're living like an old child. You're just an old child, is what you are.
That's exactly it. I'll never grow old.
Good. That's the goal of all of us, I hope. At least I know it is mine.
Right.
Is mine. I have doodles all over my wall. Some of it is mine. Some of it is from the other 4th graders or 3rd graders or whatnot. And I'm just sitting here like, man, you guys are so good. You gotta grow up and be famous artists. So you're in Houston, right?
No.
Houston?
No. Hey, give me 1 second. I gotta plug in my computer.
Yeah.
I forgot to plug it in.
Plug it in. Woo! I just tooted.
Okay, there we go. So, no, I'm up in North Texas, about an hour north of Dallas.
Where's Austin?
Austin is South Texas.
Okay.
Texas is huge.
Yeah, I know Texas is huge. I thought I could get to Texas. Like I was telling you in the summer, I was like, hey, I'm gonna come by and hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
And then I realized like, whoa, no, I'm not. No, because it would have been what? So I drove 4,000 miles in total, or like 4,500 miles in total. It was so good. It was so good. But it's like when I got to Vegas, it would have taken me another like 2,000 or 3,000 miles just to get to Texas. And I was like, oh my god, I did not plan for that. I don't have enough time, and I don't have enough funds to make that drive and all the way back, because it went from a 4,000 mile to like a 9,000, 8,000 mile trip.
I think from where we are to, let's say, Houston, I think it's like a 6 or 7, if not more, hour drive.
Wow.
Yeah, and you're still in Texas the entire time.
That's where Rob is?
Yeah, Rob's in Houston.
Cool. Yep. I just took. I've known my personality type. I took the Myers-Briggs test, and so I'm an ENFP, right? So the campaigner, like the first one to go, just whatever it is, right? Just artistic, all that stuff. I'm not afraid to take chances. And I was on Google, and it's like, find out your perfect city to live based on your Myers-Briggs test. I was like, this is interesting. I'll look into this. And then for mine, it said Austin, Texas. And I was like,
yeah, I can see that. I hear all the stories of Austin. It's a very creative community, from what I understand. Like there's a lot of artists, there's a lot of musicians. It's just it's a hell of a lot of creative people, So,
yeah, sounds like a lot. I mean, a lot of fun stuff to do.
Yeah.
So that's what I was asking.
Yeah, no, I Kristen actually took a trip with her friend to Austin a couple of months ago, and she said she loved it and she wanted to go back. The only time I've ever really gotten to take a trip out of state that wasn't work related was I went to Chicago one time. My brother had just gotten out of boot camp, and that's where the boot camp was. And we got to go watch him graduate, and I loved everything about Chicago. I don't know we were only there for a couple of days, and I was like, I'm moving back here. I'm going to move there. And of course I never did, but it was great. I don't know, something about the big city was fun. A lot of fun. All the big buildings, all the busy, it's just busy. I don't know. I like busy. Even though I don't like crowds of people. It was really an odd experience.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, there's always a future.
Yep.
I mean, maybe there's always a future, but if there is a future, there's always that.
Yeah.
Do you know your personality type at all?
No, I don't. I've never done anything like that.
Well, if you get bored, I'd be interested to hear.
What's it called again? I'll write it down.
It's the Myers-Briggs personality test. So it's you can take one that's like paid, but if you throw it into Google, like the very first or the second link, it's the one that I took. Which I took that one. I was ENFP, which I was like, cool. And then it just gives you the whole breakdown. You can read into yourself and like your strengths, your weaknesses. And then I also, when I started donating sperm to the sperm bank, they had me take another personality test, and I came up with the same thing. So I was like, all right, well,
there must be something to it.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm definitely that. And then it gave validity to the Google test, because it's a quicker version. I actually preferred the one that I took on Google, because that one I was like, all right, cool. The one I was taking, the actual test I was taking, I swear I just wanted to pull my hair out, because I'm balanced, right? So it's balanced between like social and introverted. So it's like they're asking me these questions that's telling me either yes or no, and they're very bipolar questions. They're very polarized. Like, I am more enthusiastic to be at home reading a book than dancing on the top of a table at a party. And I'm like, but I do both of those things. How do you tell me to pick a side when, like, Saturday I'll be reading a book, not wanting to move, and Sunday I'm dancing on top of a table, screaming a yeehaw, It's like, and I'm sitting there, it's like, you want me to pick what? Like, how dare you make me decide? So it was frustrating, but as soon as I got done, I was like, oh, okay, whew. ENFP, same thing. You gave me the breakdown. I was like, all right, fine. I see what you did there, test. bitch.
See, I'm looking through all these, and I feel like I've got a little bit of all of these. Like I don't think I'm one of any of these completely. Like it's like you're the inspector, you're the counselor, you're the mastermind, the giver. Like I feel like I got a little bit of all of it, except maybe mastermind. I don't have any mastermindful plans or anything. But you know, I'm a little bit craftsy. I'm a little bit of a provider. I'm a little, I don't know.
I think we're a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So if you take the test, it'll just compile. I think it's like 30 or 40 or 60 questions. It should take you 10, 15 minutes, and it'll just toss it together. And then based on how many like questions you answer, based on like being outgoing or introverted or like goal oriented or freedom seeking, it'll base the thing that will say you're most likely in this category. Because I mean it's still very liberating saying that you still got a bunch of all these qualities, but this is basically how you think. This is your mind. If you do it, I'd be interested to hear.
Yeah, no, I'll do it. I'll for sure do it, because that seems really interesting to see where I land on this. It's really like the I don't know if you've ever played the Fallout games, but it's like the GOAT test that you have to take.
Huh? Tell me about it.
It's at the very beginning of the game, and now it's it's aimed for the game. It's like, would you save this person, or would you murder the bad guy or whatever? And so basically, it's trying to figure out if you're going to play with the morale of good or evil. So, but that's what it really makes me think of, is like, because it kind of gives you small categories of stuff where it puts all your stats depending on how you answer all the questions.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, there it is. You'll have a real life stats, which I still don't think there's any difference between a video game and real life. It's just this video game is just much more complex.
Yep.
And who knows? None of us have reached a checkpoint yet. Or if we have, it just gets erased from the memory.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, we did a whole episode on simulation theory, and that was that was a tough one. That was a really tough one, because there wasn't like a whole lot of research. It was more philosophy, and Rudy on our show claims that our IQ went up a couple, or people are going to think our IQ went up a few points on this show. So I don't know if that's true or not, but it was fun to talk that philosophy of it.
That'd be interesting. I haven't listened to that one. I should listen to it. I saw that you did the episode. I was like, yes, hologram theory. I'm happy you're talking about it. I should go listen to it.
Yeah.
Shoot. Well, I think I'm gonna have to go and work out. I need to go to the gym.
Yeah, go ahead and
Take
work
a
out
shower.
for me, since I don't have any self motivation to do it.
All right. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays will be for me. Tuesdays, Thursdays, I'll do it for you.
All right, there we go.
This is for Toby. And the weekends, I don't know, for Kristen, so she doesn't get cancer. I don't want her to get cancer. She's a nice lady. She keeps you happy, and all that good stuff.
And let me correct myself before we go. I said girlfriend earlier. She is my fiance. I actually proposed to her on an episode. Yeah, I hadn't got to give you that update yet either. I forgot about that. I'm sorry.
What episode did you do it?
We were. So it's
awesome.
It's one of our after darks, and it was actually my birthday weekend. And so it was all about Toby, all about me, and blah blah blah. So and I was pretty tore up. In fact, some of the buddies that were there recording with us, they knew what I was going to do, and they handed me a water bottle and said, "Here you go, buddy." And I was like, "I don't need water," and because I was so tore up. And he was like, "Drink the water." And I was like, "I don't need water." And he goes, "Toby, drink the water." And I was like, "Oh, I'm drunk, and I'm about to propose."
It's hilarious.
Yeah, and I completely botched the whole thing. Like it's me stuttering. I'm like, will you marry me? Like, it's so ridiculous, but it's kind of
That's the cutest thing ever.
It's kind of sweet, I guess. I don't know.
That's amazing. And yeah, doing it on a podcast, that's amazing too. That's so incredible. And it's so you too. It's so you guys. It's like it encompasses your personality, your relationship too. So it's like it's beautiful.
Yep.
Okay, well, give her a high five for me.
I will.
Oh no, give her a hug. She deserves more than a high five. She deserves a high five and a hug.
That's right.
So go into it like this. So go into it like high five, and then you grab her hand and then pull her in. This is from Andre.
Yeah, there we go.
Precisely everything.
Oh man.
That's fun.
Well, what a wild ride. I guess I'll be coming on their podcast sometime in the future. We haven't set anything up, but I'm glad you stuck through it. I'm glad you listened to our chit chat. I hope you guys learned something. If anything, made you think a little bit differently about some subject, or maybe you're just doing this for fun. Whatever you're doing this for, I'm glad you stuck around and made it to the end. And now I'm going to perform a off the top of my mind, free balling a song. And I like to say free balling because it's freestyle and spitballing combined. And I know there's probably a different meaning to free balling, but I will use that free balling definition as I seem fit. So now, here is the song. Enjoy. Sit around and smile. Toby's face looks at me upon my face, but he can't see because the camera's not working anymore. For shame. We talk about the way things used to be just a couple years ago. How time flies, don't you know? You gotta be your best at any time. Run around like chickens without our heads, but we get things done for the next day to end. And we came out and said our hugs and said our peace to be in between. Pain was shared, it's true. It's been between me and you, but here we lie ahead. We try to make you use your head. Use your head. Just you. Imagine who will be the president in 2030. Imagine what he'll have to do. He yells at people all the time when he was younger, and someone recorded it and put it on FaceTime. We didn't have to deal with that back then. We didn't have to think twice. But now you gotta think about the future every once in a while. Once in a while. Live like God is watching in a corner of the room, 'cause he is. His eyes disguised as computer chips, transmitting all your lies to the world, every moment. Just don't forget to love because it feels so good. Share that feeling with yourself too. Don't forget to give out all the hugs you've got. Believe me, you've got an infinite amount. Hug a friend or two. Hug a friend or two. gotta say is, Toby, I love you. Yes, I do. You're one cool cat, gotta give you that. You're raising kids like a real man should. Say hello to Kristen for me too. And that high five, it better be good. Better be good. Stay fly, everybody. Stay fly.